amongst us on the occasion of this international conference on the spiritualism and handling global crisis on that. So, Swamiji, what has been your experience so far in this seminar?
Well, I'm first of all delighted. I congratulate to the organizers, to the university for planning and having this kind of a meeting where people can bring different perspectives, where there is kind of a confluence, what we call in our Hindi Sanskrit Sangam. There's a confluence of the material, the spiritual, the intellectual, the intuitive. All these things are being looked at from various angles. And I think this is a remarkable step in making things understand that we are part of one whole. We are not divided. We can become one. The unity is only the matter of our perception. How do we see that? The mind divides, but the spirit unites. So this is something which is a uniting principle that spirituality has brought us together.
So Osho also, he brought spirituality to the fore, from the books, from the scriptures to the practical reality, and made it accessible to people, and people started thinking about it. So from the philosophy which we started, the spiritualism, the way he started, to the way management school is attempting it. So is there any connect, or is there any solution or recommendation?
There is definitely. I'm glad that you mentioned that. You see, basically we are only concerned about, or we only know two centers. One is the mind and another is what we call the spirit. There is a third center which is also known as the heart. Doesn't mean biological heart. There's an energy called the heart energy or the love energy. What Osho has done is, he has brought together the understanding of what this mind is all about. The mind is an important thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But to be a slave of the mind is where things go wrong. Instead of we becoming the master, the consciousness becoming the master, the mind has become the master. And that is where the disaster has happened. So first thing is, mind is important because for practical reasons it is useful. Heart is important because in the relationships, we are living in the world of relationships. We cannot conceive our life without relating, either with parents, children, society, friends, all. And there is a third one, which is known as consciousness. Consciousness means how to become more aware. Aware means how to become more aware of our unawareness. We have all patterns, habits, likes, dislikes, conditionings. They are controlling us. An aware person becomes aware of that unawareness. And Osho has tried to give us an understanding how to become aware of our unawareness. And meditation is the way. There are only two options, agitation or meditation. We are always living in agitation. But there is always a room for meditation. And then he adds the third element, celebration. Life is to be enjoyed. Life is fun. It hasn't to be taken very seriously. So, meditation, celebration, and contributing something to the world. The way we have come into this world, we should live it a little better than how we have found it. Then it makes something. So a creative energy has to continuously flow through the meditative and celebrating process.
But there's one inherent risk, like spirituality and other things like meditation. Everything is good. Nobody can argue about it, the goodness of these things. But somehow when these are implemented, they get cultified ultimately. Now you have so many people conducting meditation classes, sessions, so they just go like kitty party, and people going to meditation. In Bombay there is so many organizations which are doing meditation. People are going for meditation and coming back unchanged. There is no change at all, ever.
This is because they think meditation is a goal. That if you do this, the meditation will happen. That is not the case. Meditation is not the goal. Meditation is the way of life. Every moment has to be meditative. How do I sit? How do I eat? How do I speak? How do I sleep? Whatever I do has to come through the awareness, and that awareness is meditation. Then you cannot make any cult out of it, because there is nobody there to control you or to tell you. You are the one who is telling yourself how to do. Shakespeare tells in Hamlet, the question is to be or not to be. But that is really not the question. The question is how to be and how not to be. To be we already are, but we don't know how to be. In order to how to be, meditative awareness is required. That I don't need anybody to tell me how to be. I know, because I am my own teacher. This is what Buddha's message is. Appadipa bhava. Be a lamp unto yourself. This is Osho's message. You become your own guide. Don't depend on me. I can only simply point the finger at the moon. But you have to go through the path. And you have to find out where you are right, where you are not right, and what is the difference between the two. That awareness is only the way to move further, whether you are doing practical life or spiritual life. So all these schools and cults and all that, you can call them as different shops. People have started shops. And these shops are good because people are so frustrated. People are so unhappy, they don't know what to do. So somebody says, okay, you come, I'll tell you. So he says, okay, you tell me. जाओ अच्छा ठीक हो जाएगा ये पानी पी ले सब हो जाएगा पानी पीने से थोड़ी कुछ होता है you have to put your whole energy, your effort into it, and that commitment is more required. Commitment, courage and consistency. These are the three requirements of meditation. Commitment to meditation, courage. You will see yourself, you think you are something this, inside you say my goodness अंदर तो कचरा पड़ा हुआ है. And consistency, कि आज ध्यान करता हूँ कल भी करूँगा. That means it is like taking a bath. Meditation is taking an inner bath. It's cleansing process. Every moment you have to clean yourself, because every moment we are gathering dust, thoughts, ideas, impressions, media, all these things, they are bombarding us. And that is exactly where Osho has brought us to understand that meditation is a way of life. It is not a goal out there. Every moment you are in meditation or you are not in meditation. So how to be in meditation is the only thing. And for that he has given number of techniques. He has designed more than 200 meditation techniques. He has 650 books to his name. He has 10,000 audio cassette discourses, 2,000 video cassettes. What is he doing in all this? He's continuously reminding us. Somebody from America came. I have spent so many years in America. Somebody says, how do I describe this man in one word? I said, you just call him the reminder. He reminds us. He reminds us. Who are we? What are we doing? Why are we being like this? How do we move? How do we live?
Let your heart be reminder.
Yes, exactly.
Let your heart be reminder.
Exactly, exactly. But that is where somewhere he has contributed into giving us the power and strength, not controlling our power. So there is no cult. Around Osho there is no cult, no nothing. There is no Sangathan, there is no Sampradaya, no sect. It's all a free. He believes in fundamental freedom. It is only a free person who can go on the path of journey, which is exploration.
But there is a risk with these kind of enlightened people all the time, like the Kabir. Whatever Kabir preached against, his followers are actually practicing precisely those things. Whatever Buddha preached, his followers are practicing precisely opposite of that. And I think similar things are happening for Osho also in certain cases, not always.
This is what we
what can we do to avoid the same thing happening to the spiritualism?
This is what is called in English the hazards of the business. This is the eternal raha. This has always been like this. Why? Because human mind has a limit. It cannot cross so quickly. Among the millions, there are very few who awaken themselves or who are awakened to see what is true and what is not true. It is true that Buddha and Mahavira and Kabir and all these people, they have given such a wonderful light, but our ability to comprehend that is so limited. And that is why Osho has always made it very clear that I am not telling you something what the truth is. I am simply pointing out to you how you can go about seeing it. I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. I want you to relate with it. And people are people. Out of these people, वो कहते हैं ना कि by one seed can create a whole forest. Yes, we are small seeds, that is true. And it will take time, but it is worth doing. If Mahavir and Buddha and Kabir had not said all that he has said, this world would have been worse than what it is today. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine what a world it would be? It is only because of their teachings and their wisdom and their guidance that at least we can say that we are, yes, that we are humans, at least to some extent. So these are the hazards of the business. There's nothing anybody can do it. The person completely trusts that what he is saying, if there is any truth, it will remain. If there is no truth, it will go away on its own. He's not bothered about it. We have to take the responsibility. Where do I stand? It doesn't matter what you are doing or what you are not doing. Always the light is on me. Where do I stand? How do I behave? How do I live? It is not my concern how you are living, because that is judging you. That is making you as my object. I am the object and I am the subject both. And that is where my challenge is. How to become conscious of our unconsciousness. Not your unconsciousness, my unconsciousness. And I find light. हमारे ये जो शब्द बना है, the word enlightenment is very interesting.
So you need a guru for that who can find.
Well, you may, if you find one, it enhances the process. It enhances it, makes it easier, because his presence, whether in body or not.
Instead of doing the hard way, you find it easier.
Exactly. It gives you strength. He gives you power. You trust. You create a trust within you. I can do it because I know he is with me. He is there with me always. Not as a controller, but as a guide, as a reminder. He is reminding me every moment where I am, what am I doing, why I am doing the way I am doing it. Simply reminding us.
So can you define spirituality for us, or what does spirituality mean to you?
How not to be slave of your mind, and how to become more and more aware of your being is spirituality. All the techniques are just techniques for that. They are not the ultimate end. Maybe you do this technique or that technique, yoga, whatever. But if it brings you to making you more and more aware of what yourself, your spirit, because we are not just mind, we are not just body, we are also more than that. But that has to be experienced. And that experience is what spirituality is. Spirituality is experiencing the totality, the oneness, that I am part of the whole. I am not divided. I am not cut off from anyone. If it is because of my mind. Mind is a very cunning, sharp-edged, thing. If you walk on it properly, it is helpful to you. And if you don't walk properly, it will cut you through and it will take you into pieces. That is where the challenge is. And it is always my job. The journey is mine. It is my job to see what I am doing with myself. It's none of else's job.
The topic of this conference, like handling global management crisis through spiritualism. Do you think it is possible, or it is too utopian a topic?
No. It is not utopian at all. It is the right time. People are beginning the futility. They are seeing the futility of all that has been told, all the way from the Marx to Engels to whoever the capitalist people must have been. They are finding it that this is not the way to live. You see the disasters that are happening individually, collectively, socially, culturally, internationally. People are beginning to see the picture that unless we correct our path, unless we change our ways, we will be doomed. And we have to worry about one thing, and that is that I am responsible for all this. Nobody else is responsible. I have to take responsibility. Spirituality, this conference is a step toward taking responsibility. Okay? It is taking responsibility, not blaming somebody else, not finding scapegoats.
Internalizing the problem.
Exactly. And relating, finding relationships. Why this is this way? Why this is this way? How do I bring it together? And how do I function accordingly?
Now there is a situation like in management college or any such institution where we have a structure. There is a process, there is a method, and you have syllabus, you have curriculum, which are bound by certain rules. But spirituality, as you define it, it's very personal, it is very, very, very customized thing, varies from person to person. So implementing it in the way it should be implemented, without it being converted into a cult or a system. So what solutions you offer? What model you offer?
Just as a passing thing, I have taught at the Nirma Institute in Ahmedabad. It's a school of management. I don't know if you are aware of it.
No.
And I had about 80 students sitting in my class, all management students. Their fathers are businessmen, their families businessmen. This was the same question. I'm just reminded of it. How do I function? My father says, this is not the way to do it. I am here to make profit. And I'm saying, but my professor says profit is not what important is enjoying what I'm doing. Am I enjoying it? Is this really something I want to do? The issue is, syllabus, intellectual understanding, analysis has a certain role, only to the extent that it makes a concept clear. But life is not made for these concepts. Life is something which is beyond that. Now, if I do not understand the value of love, the value of compassion, the value of cooperation, then all that I have learned in my classroom is absolutely of no use. I will tell you a very interesting story, sir. Is it time? Do we have time?
Yes, sir.
I am reminded. Many years ago, I was invited to speak at BHU. Mr. Jha, I don't know whether he was the same Jha or some other, he was the Vice Chancellor then. Yeah? He invited me for a cup of tea. And we were talking about education and so on. And he said, what you are saying is true. But you know, when these people go out, these graduates, we don't know how they are going to behave. One story. Second story, when I was speaking somewhere, like the same professor, different one in Oxford, he says, yeah, this is true. We give them textual knowledge, we give them this, we give them this, but we don't prepare them to live how to be. Then I said, what's the point in having it? Your curriculum is only an exercise into something which is not relating with the living. What I'm trying to say, sir, is we have to bring in the element of meditation. Meditation not as a religion. Meditation means there are ways of how to be, how to live, how to relate. That should become part of, and this is exactly how in this very country, the first thing that was taught was meditation. Not Kakaga and ABC and all that. Exactly. The Guru wanted to make sure that you are now prepared. Dhyan. Dhyan se matlab tha unka. Dhyan not to somebody else. Dhyan towards you. And from that dhyan onwards, everything else starts. Whether you want to throw the arrow, whether you want to write something, the water, it has to emerge from that fountain.
Before operating any machine, you need to know about it. So before operating yourself, you need to know about you.
About yourself. Yes. And that knowing is actual knowing, not knowledge. आपके बनारस की ये कहानी है सर, हिंदी में बोल सकता हूँ मैं? कबीर की ये कथा मुझे बहुत प्यारी है, मुझे किसी ने बहुत सालों पहले सुनाई थी। कबीर अपने जुलाहे हैं, वो तो अपना कपड़ा बुन रहे हैं। इस नगरी में अभी होता है कि नहीं पता नहीं, किसी जमाने में पंडितों का विवाद होता था, डिबेट होता था, और डिबेट में किसी को महापंडित घोषित किया जाता था। तो एक यंग आदमी, उसने सबको हरा दिया और वो महापंडित हो गया। वो अपने घर पे आया, अपनी माँ के चरण स्पर्श किए, बोले माँ तुझे तो खुश होना चाहिए कि तेरा बेटा आज महापंडित घोषित हो गया। तो उसने कहा ठीक है, अच्छी बात है, तो फिर तूने सबको हरा दिया? उसने कहा कबीर को भी हरा दिया। कबीर को कहाँ कुछ आता है, उनको थोड़ी कुछ आता है कि वेद क्या है, पुराण क्या। अगर तू कबीर को हरा के आ जाए तो मैं मानूंगी कि तू महापंडित हुआ। तो कहते यार आप कह रहे हो तुम्हारा कबीर को हरा के आ जाए तो बात क्या है बड़ी। वो गया, कबीर बैठे हुए हैं अपना जो काम कर रहे हैं। चलिए जी मैं आपको चुनौती देता हूँ, आइए आप मेरे साथ विवाद कीजिए, क्योंकि ये घोषित होना है कि मैं जीतता हूँ कि आप जीत। कबीर ने कहा भैया बहुत गड़बड़ मामला है, सीधी बात को चक्कर क्या है। उनका चक्कर ये है कि आप मेरे साथ आर्ग्यूमेंट करो, विवाद करो और देखते हैं कि आप जीतते हो कि मैं जीतता हूँ। कबीर ने कहा भैया तू जानता है मुझे तो लिखना नहीं आता, पढ़ना नहीं आता, मसीह कागज छुओ नहीं, कलम गई नहीं हाथ, ऐसी तो मेरी हालत है। मैं क्या जानूं यार, तू सब जानता है, तुझे सब, मुझे कुछ नहीं पता, आई डोंट नो एनीथिंग। नहीं ऐसा नहीं चलेगा, आपको लिख के देना पड़ेगा कि आप हार गए। नहीं मुझे लिखना तो आता नहीं, तो ऐसा कर तू लिख ले जो तुझे लिखवाना है मुझसे, मैं अंगूठा रख देता हूँ उसके ऊपर, ठीक है। उसने अपना जो है लिख लिया। उसने कहा खुश हो जाएगा भैया, तू ले भैया मेरा अंगूठा ले जा। वो जब घर पे आया उसकी माँ को बड़ी हंसी आई। उससे अरे मूड, जो ये कहता है कि मुझे कुछ नहीं आता, उसी को तो सब आता होता, वो जाकर ढिंडोरा नहीं पीटता कि मुझे आता है। तू ढिंडोरा पीट रहा है कि तुझे आ रहा है, तुझे कुछ भी नहीं आता, इसीलिए तू पीट रहा है। जो कुछ नहीं जानता उसी को पता होता है कि असली जानना किसे कहते हैं। इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ नोइंग की बात है, नॉलेज की बात नहीं है। नॉलेज जो है वो तो बोरोड होता है, आपसे ले लिया, आप ले भी सकते हैं, मुझे आज नॉलेजेबल कर, अननॉलेजेबल कर सकते हो, आपकी थ्योरी मेरी थ्योरी काट सकते हो। लेकिन नोइंग जो हार्ट से आता है, जो एक्सपीरियंस से आता है, जो स्पिरिचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग से आता है, दैट नोइंग इज माइंड। That nobody can take it. So in that context, all our education system will have to inculcate the component of how you know yourself, how you relate with this life, how you can continue to function as a contributing member of the society, not just simply exploiting and benefiting and profiting. आपका contribution क्या है यहाँ पर? What are you doing for this world? ये जो करिकुलम हमारा है, उस करिकुलम में बिल्कुल ऑफसाइडेड है, और ऐसे हमें माना गया कि इफ यू आर आपके पास इतना सारा ज्ञान है तो आप बड़े भारी पंडित हो, बाकी आप कुछ, ऐसा नहीं होता। ये कबीर साहब की जो बात है मुझे इतनी अच्छी लगती है कि मैं तो मिट ही गया हूँ भैया, मैं तो हूँ ही नहीं, मेरा अहंकार चला गया, मेरा होनापन चला गया, मैं तो बस जीवन के साथ जुड़ा हुआ हूँ। ये मैं जुलाहा का काम करता हूँ, आनंद से करता हूँ, मस्ती से करता हूँ। देखो मेरी तो देखो कैसा लगता हूँ। एक ज्योत होती है, एक प्रकाश होता है जीवन के अंदर, और एक बोझ होता है। ज्ञान जो है वो बोझ है, इट्स हैवी लोड, और उसमें झुके चले जाते हैं लोग। जैसे वो ऑक्सफोर्ड की यूनिवर्सिटी यही कहा, मैंने कहा कि मान लीजिए कि आपका आदमी ऑक्सफोर्ड से ग्रेजुएट हो गया, और मान लीजिए कि कल उसके घर पे एक डिजास्टर हो गया, कि भाई उसके यहाँ डेथ हो गई, कि उसका लड़का जो है ड्रग लेने लगा, कि उसकी चोरी हो गई, तो आप हैव यू प्रिपेयर्ड हिम टू हैंडल दैट क्राइसिस? नहीं, हम तो ऐसी बात नहीं करते। हम तो टेक्सटाइल नॉलेज देते हैं, हम तो एनालिसिस देते हैं, हमको ये नहीं देते। मैंने कहा फिर उस ग्रेजुएशन का मतलब क्या? वो ऑक्सफोर्ड का ग्रेजुएट अगर ही इज गोइंग बर्जर्क बिकॉज ही कैन नॉट मैनेज हिज लाइफ and the crisis that has happened to him, what's the point of that education?
The question is, what is the solution? Like, how do we implement it? Because ultimately, if we want to propagate it to the people who actually need it, that's the people who are going to handle the organization and corporations, so how do we go about it?
First of all, it has to filter from the top. आपको मैं मजेदार बताऊं, एक हमारे एजुकेशन का मिनिस्टर हुआ करते थे, कृष्ण चंद्र नाम था शायद उनका। हाँ नहीं, कृष्ण नहीं, प्रकाश चंद्र ऐसा, वो मुझे लगता है किसी चंद्रशेखर जी के जमाने के वो शायद मिनिस्टर थे। मैं गया था इसी बात को लेकर के। मैंने कहा सर मेरा इतना निवेदन है, अगर आप कहें तो मैं कोशिश कर सकता हूं, लेकिन हम थोड़ा सा ध्यान अगर हम विद्यार्थियों के जीवन लाएं तो ध्यान से क्या हो, ध्यान करके क्या करना है? अरे भाई उनको ये पढ़ना है, उनको वो पढ़ना है, उनको ये जानना है, वो ध्यान की कोई बात मत करो हमारे पास। वहां से इस बात का चल रहा है मामला। अगर वहीं से नहीं इस चीज को एक्सेप्ट किया जा रहा है तो नीचे से कैसे है?
There is a misconception about spiritualism being associated to religion, though it is not at all.
जी बिल्कुल ठीक बताया।
So, आप इसको थोड़ा सा डिफरेंशिएट करके बताएं।
देखिए, religion is a matter of belief and faith and activity. If you do this, then you are religious. If you go to a temple, put your tika, you are religious. Whether you go out in the shop and cut somebody's hair, doesn't matter. Spirituality समझे? Spirituality का मतलब ये है, the moment you are in the temple, do you leave everything there, or you come back with the same thing that you took inside with you? वही क्रोध, वही jealousy, वही हिंसा लेके जाते हो मंदिर में, उसी को लेकर वापस आते हो। तो तुमने किया क्या वहां, दिया क्या? स्पिरिचुअलिटी का मतलब ये है कि मैं जब मंदिर में जाता हूं तो मंदिर में होता हूं, जब मैं दुकान पे होता हूं तो मैं दुकान पे होता हूं, लेकिन मेरा मंदिर का जो बोध है, जो अनुभव है, वो मेरे साथ दुकान में भी रहता है। वो जो शांति है, वो जो पीस है, वो जो इनोसेंस है, वो मेरी दुकान में भी रहता है। ये हमारा आज का जो मैं बोलूंगा दोपहर को, आप आइए। I've written a paper, I'm sure you appreciate that. I mentioned that कि आज का जो आदमी है, एक नया मैनेजर होना चाहिए, a manager who will understand all these matters, जो रिलेट कर सकता हो इंटेलेक्चुअली, इमोशनली, स्पिरिचुअली, साइकोलॉजिकली। वो अपने आप को बांटेगा नहीं किसी के साथ। तो अगर आप ये चाहते हो कि यहाँ पर हो इस तरह, तो उसकी कुछ टेक्निक्स हैं सर, उसकी मेथोडोलॉजी है, उसको आप इंट्रोड्यूस कीजिए ना। हम करते हैं हमारे आश्रम में, देयर thousands upon thousands of people coming from all over the world for last 30-40 years, and look how their lives are transformed and changed. हम कुछ नहीं कहते कि ऐसा ही सच है, हम कहते हैं ये एक्सपेरिमेंट करके देखो कैसा लगता है।
कैन वी टेक इट कि आपका सपोर्ट और आपकी हेल्प हमको अपने इस करिकुलम में मिलेगी?
आप कभी भी सर मुझे बुलाइए, मेरा इट विल बी माई ऑनर टू कम बैक एंड डू व्हाटएवर आई कैन। इट विल बी माई प्लेजर एंड माई ऑनर एज वेल।
व्हाट डू यू सी द नेक्स्ट स्टेप फ्रॉम दिस? यहाँ से कहाँ जाना चाहिए SMS को इस प्रोसेस में?
इस प्रोसेस को आपको यंग लोगों तक ले जाना पड़ेगा। हम तो यहाँ पर आके बैठे हुए हैं, लेकिन जो पीढ़ी अब आगे आने वाली है, जो कन्फ्रंट कर रही है आज की रियलिटी, पागल खाने को आज के, उसका और भी बड़ा पागल खाना उसको करना पड़ेगा, उसके बच्चों को उन तक पहुंचना पड़ेगा हमको। उनको कैसे पहुंचेंगे आप? So I would go to schools and colleges, not only to SMS, but to all different institutions of education, and bring them awareness of all these matters. Introduce them to these techniques and ideologies.
बहुत अच्छा लगा स्वामी जी आपसे और बात करके, and I hope you enjoy your stay.
I'm so grateful that you gave me this opportunity. I wish you all best, and I'm again congratulating you for this wonderful experience. Thank you, sir.